class. Therapist KRISTINA Virrro looks at the causes and possible solutions in her book, The Anxious Teen. Now, what is an anxious teen? Is it somebody who's maybe personality changes a little bit? Is that moodiness?
Yeah, so there's a few warning signs for anxiety in teenagers. So one of them is definitely moodiness. Another is just withdrawal from activities that they might not be typically doing. And another is seeing that there's just a lot of stress that's disproportionate to the situation that endures over a long period of time. So that's usually a warning sign that something's going on and they might need some help.
Right, and something is going on with the teenager, right? Because their brains are changing.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, I think it's one thing for adults to be stressed and we're all feeling some pressures ourselves, but when you're a teenager, you also have all of these hormonal changes going on, brain changes happening, so you add that layer on top of everything else, and it's this perfect storm in a way for anxiety for some teenagers.
Right, and how do you know when you get to the point where, okay, we need help?
Yeah, I would say for parents, trust your instincts as well as teenagers, noticing when are they withdrawing, when do they seem as though something is just so overwhelming that they can't even really function. It reaches that point of dysfunction of, I'm just too overwhelmed, I can't even do this, I don't know where to start, and it really knocks their confidence, and it goes on for a really long period of time, like I said, to the point where it's debilitating for them. So that's usually a sign of, okay, what do you need from us?
Right. Talking about confidence, you brought your cell phone here.
Yes.
Social media, I mean, we didn't grow up with this, but you talk in the book about it being a good thing, it being a bad thing.
Yeah.
Let's start off with the bad thing. It's because everybody's comparing everybody to their best self, right?
Totally. You wouldn't believe the number of teenagers who I work with who say, well, scrolling through Instagram and I saw my friend doing this, and or this person's so thin, and I just think, oh my gosh, because those things are all so curated, and I don't think teenagers realize that there's been 5 editing apps that have been used on that photo.
Right.
So, you know, it used to be magazines and you kind of knew that Photoshop was happening, but now it's accessible 24
and
hours
it's
a day.
people that you know.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And so it becomes this comparison too of, well, why don't I look like that, or why don't I have that? And then there's not really this time to ask themselves, well, who am I and who do I want to be? Because there's this bombardment of other information and other people and what are they doing. So,
right.
Yeah.
And you give parents some really good tips on watch what you're doing with your social media as well, because so many parents, they're on the same, you know, either they're on their phone all the time or they're comparing themselves or thinking, oh, I should be losing weight, kind of thing.
Yes, exactly. I always tell parents it's really important to kind of check yourselves as well. I see a lot of parents that will come in and they'll say, here's my teenager, can you just fix them for me? And I think, okay, well, when we do family therapy, which is usually really interesting, there's a lot of habits that come out from parents as well that I think, well, maybe this is contributing to the problem, which is actually good news because then we can figure out how everybody in the family can contribute to the solution. So I feel really hopeful when everybody comes.
Right.
Yeah.
And you talk about how everybody kind of comes together or can come together in the kitchen.
Yes.
Nutrition is a big part, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, so I mean, when I was younger, we had these things called Sunday night dinners. And
actually, I still do.
Yeah,
I'm still really lucky. Yeah, it's a way of connecting.
Exactly. And so it's that interactive time. Everybody's able to catch up and just take a break from the busyness. And then also just in preparing the food, like you said, that's really good interactive time for parents and teenagers. Setting a good example as well of what's good to eat nutritionally for anxiety. So I talk about that in the book as well because I have a nutrition background too.
Right.
Yeah.
And even the responsibility of learning how to do life skills.
Absolutely.
Like how to prepare a meal or how to do laundry, how to do all those things. Because you said that so many teens in your practice come in and they're like, Mom and Dad don't want me to do anything.
Exactly.
I don't feel like I'm good at anything.
Right, exactly. So having that bonding time, letting them know that they're capable and they can learn new things, and that, you know, even if you mess up the dinner, that's okay. We'll just do it again next week. And I think that's been a really big surprise for me as a therapist is in family therapy, I'm so surprised at the number of teenagers who actually want to come back and say they really enjoy it because it's undivided attention from Mom and Dad, which they might not normally get. That was a big shocker to me.
Okay, lots of shockers, lots of great advice too in The Anxious Teen, available at all bookstores right now. We'll get a link up to your site.
Thank you so much.